conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Well, welcome back, and I'm so proud it's catching on. As you know, I always tell that lovely young lady that we want our folks to watch us here on New Orleans Network, and I was so pleased. It's moving. Just following us because it's been on several weeks now, and it's called Talk to the Tarot. And for those who haven't seen the show, we have a lovely lady by the name of Robyn Dennen who has been relocated on her own means to San Diego. The last few times she's been in San Francisco for a few years, but she's a very volatile and movable and transportable, which you have to be in today's society. So she not only relocates her residence, she travels a lot, which is really great. But she's been doing tarot card readings and psychics and mediums. I know I'll be saying the wrong things, but I know for a long time, at least 20 years, got a wonderful website, and she's been gracious enough to speak to our audience and grant them a tarot card reading as much as can be done in a 15-minute episode each month. So it's something we all look forward to. We hope the audience is starting to enjoy it. And, of course, we're also anxious for the audience to participate more. Right now, I know everyone is in the doldrums of the catastrophe, I'll use that word, of Mother Nature on the weekend. So all eyes, all ears are all focused on what happened. Why did we have this terrible flooding, the horrible memories of Katrina and other floods, and then finding out there's, the politicians or the people in charge of the St. Sewage and Water Board may be lying or miscalculating. So there's been a clearing of the house. So everything is now, every talk show, everyone you talk to, that's all they're focused on. And perhaps the reason why I'm leading up to that is that, we try and be the upbeat show of the week. And especially it's so down right now on television and everything because of this tragedy. We need to start trying to find some light in the rainbow, the end of the rainbow, a little happiness, etc. So we're hoping we bring a little bit of that to you. But that probably also explains the reason why we didn't. We had a couple of callers line up, and it doesn't look like they're going to come through. And they're going to surprise me. We still got 25 minutes. So what's going to happen is that, being the Trojans that here we are here at New Orleans Talk Network, I may be your first caller to our psychic, and our great staffsman, Mike, the technician who keeps the show afloat, doing a wonderful job, might be the second caller. So it'll be interesting. I'll be interesting because I've been curious about it. Robyn knows me very little. I mean, she's met me on 2 occasions, but again, at social events, so she doesn't know a lot about my background. So it's not like, hey, that's a fixed thing. She, y'all know each other. She knows everything about you. So, and she's never met or seen Michael. So even though we're staff here and she has a little knowledge about me, it's certainly not enough to have a pre-planned idea of what she's doing. So we're just like a customer would be. We're almost sight unseen, and especially Michael is. And so it's going to be fun for us, we hope, and fun for the audience to learn some things that hopefully are good news for us both. Anyway, if the scheduled callers do call in, of course, that would be the priority. We're going to, take the backseat. We'll always be the default for when we have a scheduled caller, and for some reason that person doesn't be able to make the call. Okay. Also, as you know, we're going to do our our break. Whenever we have a scheduled guest on the show that's either in studio or on Skype, like Robyn is, we usually minimize the raffle. We don't want to make it. In fact, we'll talk about it in a little bit. I'm not sure how much time we got before break comes. But let's go ahead and say hello to Robyn for anyone who's never seen her. And that way you'll get a look about it. She might give us just a little brief synopsis because we don't want to keep belaying the same information go over every time. There she is in her beautiful self. Good morning, Robyn. How are you? Great. You hear us, Robyn?
Yeah, I can. It's
great.
A little bit of a delay periodically, but it's not too bad. I can hear you.
Good.
San Diego's hot and humid, so I think we're having the same kind of weather you are, huh?
What was the weather you're having?
Hot and humid.
Yeah, well, now that the rain's, we've been having rain. July was our wettest July on record. And only the last 3-4 days of July that we had no rain consecutively, and because the temperatures got in the high 90s and the humidity, so it was awful. But then, sure enough, right at the beginning of August, the rains came back, and unfortunately, they came with full force. You might not be familiar with this, but on Saturday, we had substantial flooding in the city. Pumps weren't working. We had 8 to 10 inches of rain over 3 or 4 hours. Many parts of the city were totally. I took a normal trip from Metairie to my home on Saturday afternoon, which takes 20 minutes normally. I left at 2:30. I got home at 4:15. And I saw so many cars flooded and people abandoning and people in kayaks. I mean, it was just unbelievable. The streets were so bad. It was tearful because it was so reminiscent of what we went through, years ago with the back with Katrina. So the rain seems to have stopped, or it's relegated to maybe just an hour. We had an hour last night, a little bit the day before, but enough during the day to dry it out and to make it exactly like you have. But again, a lot of storms are forming down in the Gulf. At the Mexican border, and so this is our terrible month, and there is.
Oh, it is.
Historically, it's not only our hottest and most humid; it's our most probable attempt for a storm to hit us. It doesn't have to be a hurricane. I mean, it could be a tropical storm, it could be, left or right of us, but we'll get effects. So once we get to I think it's September 10th is the kind of, even though November 30th is the official end of the hurricane season, September 10th is our sigh of relief. We can hold it, we can release our breath. Because from August 28th to like September 5th, we really sweat it out because for some reason and we seem to be target zero so many times. Anyway, we don't want to be the prophet of doom. We don't want to put that in your head because you got happy thoughts for us. So anyway, right, we are in the same temperature. So have you adjusted? I know how long ago you moved back to San Diego? How long has it been now?
A week. I came back from Nice, France, and I moved directly down here.
There you go. Well, tell us real quick about yourself. You have how many? 1 or 2 daughters?
I have 1 daughter, 1 son.
1 daughter, 1 son. I apologize. And they're in that area with you, near that, or where?
My son's in Los Angeles and my daughter's in San Francisco.
But they're both adults. It's not like children, right?
Right. My son just turned 40 and my daughter's 22. You don't have to
give those details. You're only 42. How could that be?
Yeah, I know.
Adoption. Anyway, well, good. Well, we're so glad. And like I said, it's been such a delight to meet you when you were here in New Orleans. What was that, last year? I think it was last year, huh?
No, it was this year for Mardi Gras.
My memory is so bad. Every day, blends. Anyway, well, yeah. Well, we enjoyed you so much, and it seemed like you really enjoyed our city, it's a delight for us natives to see New Orleans affect first-timers, because it really is usually a positive. I mean, we have a lot of negative stuff, not only the flooding, but the crime. But the first-hand experience for persons, of seeing the city and seeing the activities and getting themselves participate, it's just delightful because their face beams and they just can't stop talking about it, And I know they carry those tales back, which of course is great for our city to keep the tourism coming, which is our main program. Okay, listen, I think it must be near break time, so if not, we're going to go ahead and take early break so that we can prepare. Now, what we're going to do is, like I say, come back, talk a little bit more. We're going to do our little raffle, talk a little bit more, and then if we haven't had the first gentleman's call, then we'll just go ahead and start with me, if that's okay. All right?
That's perfect.
All right. If Mike doesn't mind me breaking a little early, let's go ahead and pay the sponsors, come back and do our raffle, and then talk some more with our lovely guest, Robyn Dennen. See you on the other side, okay? We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hello and congratulations. You have arrived at the second half. I'm your host, Cinder Coleman Miller. Connect with us every Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network as we discuss issues pertaining to the most exciting and prolific generation of our times, the baby boomers. So for information, resources, and booming entertainment, meet us at the second half, brought to you by the Boomers Lifestyle Network.
I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden.
Questions about your finances, facts, and fishing? Join the New Orleans Talk Network and Dr. G, the Money Coach, on The Money Factor every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
That's right. You watch the New Orleans Talk Network, and especially Bob B. on the Variety Hour on Wednesday mornings from 8 to 9. I know it's early. I know it's the middle of the week. I know we've been in the dumps because of the horrible things that have happened, and we got to go through all the turmoil, especially if we've had claims. We have to do our own cleanup or repair if we've been affected by the storm, which so many in the city have. But at the same time, there's always a rainbow on the other side. We'll struggle. We always do. It's the one big sign of humanity that's so important, that you can persist. And New Orleans is certainly a role model for that, to be able to persevere, to push through, and to come out positive on the other side. We've been doing it all through my lifetime, and probably many times before that. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the raffle. As you know, we do a weekly raffle every week. When we have a guest on, either in studio or here like today in Skype, we don't do the full-blown raffle, okay? What I mean by that is we don't go into a lot of details, simply as a winner or showing the prizes and then telling us how to register. Unfortunately, the random picker picked someone and they didn't respond, so we're going to go back at it and do it again and give it another week. So especially with the trauma of the weekend, maybe that's the reason. So if you didn't see it, you're seeing it up right there. It's a package of teapots. It's pots of tea, as they might say in some places. And it's interesting because the first one that you're looking at is very colorful. This is a small single-serve contemporary American version. And you see it's very vivid colors of purples and blues and then colorful flowers on the side. and does a wonderful job of making you one cup of tea, either for your bedside or when you first get up. But it's a single serving, well, not because the family's single, it's just you want to have your own cup. Plus, it's so stylish and colorful, unless you have solely antique furniture, but even that, it won't look offensive because we mix and match so much every day. Now, in addition to that, because oftentimes we might be serving tea to more than ourselves, I'm hoping Mike has the picture of, we have a traditional tea, but now there it is. And it's basically a Chinese style. It has a bamboo handle, as you see. I thought it was cracked ceramic, but it's not. It's just a tint. It's like off-white with a beautiful peony, one of my favorite flowers, design. On one side, a very large one, and the other side, a smaller one. And the top has some little rosebuds. So it's a cute thing. I think it makes 4 to 6 cups. But again, it's for when you want to have more than one cup or just serve it. Or if you're not a tea drinker, you can make either one of these or both of these into a flower pot. You know, a single stem for the small one or growing some. So it's very functional. All you have to do, and again, by next week, these will be given away, regardless. This is how we do it. We'll give it away to a caller if necessary, however we do it. But we don't keep it more than 2 weeks. And then we'll introduce our new one next week. So all you have to do, it's a one-time registration. It's not like any other raffle you've been in on radio or TV. You don't have to be the ex-caller. All you have to do is register. You have 2 ways you can register. Either online, there's a block on the homepage. Of course, that's NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Go there, look for the VIP block. Or, as Mike's been kind enough to put up there you can email me. There's my email. Hopefully everybody can read it. bob@rreview.com. Now, I wanted it to be simple because it went through my website. However, it's one of the most confusing things. People say, I send you stuff, you never get it. It's because of 2 reasons. The word R review. It's not a real word, no. It's a double R. That's not a typo. A lot of people will drop off the first R. He put too many R's in it. It's only 1 R. It's 2 R's, E-V-U-E. It's not E-V-I-E-W. And there is a word, review, if you look it up. It's not something I created, not with the R in front of it. So review can be spelled the traditional way, R-E-V-I-E-W or R-E-V-U-E. So we spell it, or I spell it, RREVUE.com. It's very simple once you learn it. But remember, all you have to do is get it right one time with the registration, and you're in like Flint. And we only ask for 3 pieces of information. 1 is your full name to show that you are a person. 2 is your email address. Why? Rather than ask for your phone number, we don't want to disturb you. We want to be able to communicate to you, you're the winner, and back and forth, and how we can arrange the pickup. And lastly, a zip code. That just goes, because all that goes in our database to see how far our range of our audience and listeners are. Because we do get people, since we're an international network, we can go way beyond the boundaries of the typical radio station. We can go anywhere around the world. So it's fascinating to see where some of these zip codes will be. So that's all you need to do. Okay, enough of that. Remember, please register either online or send it to me. We'll put it in for you, and you'll be in like Flint. And then all you have to do is, if you don't watch the show, all you got to do is wait for that email calling and informing you that you're the winner and whatever that prize is, and then we'll make those detailed informations of whether you want it or not and how we can get it to you. Okay, back to our lovely Robyn Dennen. She's hails now from San Diego, California. She's a psychic, a tarot card reader, and I believe a medium. People ask me, see this, see that. I can't. They ask me so many, but I'm almost sure on those 3, and maybe she can correct me if I'm wrong on this. But Robyn, just a few minutes more before we start the call, which may be me, as we talked about. Just give a little bit more about your background. I know you talked a little bit in the beginning of how you first noticed when you were a few years old that there was a presence in your room, your bedroom, etc. And more as you got more, not only more educated, but more aware, you started refining that, noticing other things, etc. Just give us a little background, because everybody wants to know, well, how can a person be that? I mean, that's just turning cards and making up stuff. Tell us a little bit more, without going into a lot of detail, we don't have a lot of time, just to show people how it came to you personally.
Yeah, I was in San Francisco actually, and it was the 70s, and I started. I knew someone who was an astrologer, and I happened to look at one of those days. We used to have the thin little astrology books, and I looked at the back of it, and there was a group of people in LA, and they did spiritual stuff with tarot cards, and I took their correspondence course, and one guy asked me to read the cards, and unfortunately, I saw his father cheating on his mother, and he confirmed it, and that was the beginning of it.
Wow.
You know, it was just like, this is natural. This was really easy. Wow. I shouldn't say easy, but it came naturally for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
the other thing is that everybody can do this, but it's like anything. You have to practice. It's like tennis. So it's a matter of learning to be still, listening to that voice, and getting validated. Validation is really important to doing what I do. When someone comes back and said, everything you told me came true, it's really a lot of validation, and I go, okay, I'm right on. I'm there. I always say I'm about 85% accurate, because my interpretation sometimes is only through my experience. Okay. And so if I've never ridden a car, I wouldn't know what that experience was.
Right, absolutely. It's interesting because I follow Craigslist, a couple other things all the time, and I see, and I don't know if I forwarded you this yesterday or not, but if not, I'll send it to you today. Well, every once in a while, someone goes on there soliciting business who are allegedly tarot card readers or whatever, and some of them will have a fixed price, and they'll say what that is, or some of them will say, like this one yesterday, all donations are appreciated.
Uh-huh.
But, we do a 5-minute tarot card reading. So I'm sure the tarot card reader didn't appreciate. I took the opportunity in the comments to say another source for a free tarot card reading is to follow our show. So hopefully anyone reading it maybe will consider that. I put out the second Monday of each month, and what time, Wednesday of each month, I'll get it. Anyway, I gave enough of a promo that if somebody really wants to, hopefully we're not taking away any of his business, but I'm sure he didn't appreciate the comment. But it's just interesting to show how many people do take it up, this profession, and how many. I think the biggest thing in most people's mind are skeptics with regard to, because years ago it was very prevalent in Louisiana. I mean, if you would take a trip, even like going to Baton Rouge, before they had the expressway and you went through towns and all, invariably as you got through smaller towns, you would see a sign. Sister Marie, and got a hand, read your palm or read your tea leaves. You'd see those dotting the highway all along. And so people kept, I know even us, were skeptical. How can these people, be doing all this? This is just a scam to get tourist money, because they don't have any kind of worthwhile business here. They live in a little smaller rural town. And even though I don't know if it's more prevalent now or not. You don't see it those days. You see it advertised in ways of the medium and the media as we have. So it still has viability. Now, a lot of it is strictly customers out of curiosity, or maybe because it's a game. Let's get drunk and let's go and see what somebody tells us. So, but regardless, it's interesting that you're there to fill a sincere purpose for those who are seriously interested in it. And I don't mean to be morose or anything, but what I'm saying is it's not a game to you. It's not like, because it's cards doesn't mean it's a game. It's a legitimate service, and you feel that you can hopefully help someone with information, regardless of the positive or negativity of it. And that's what makes you feel better about yourself, because you feel you have this gift and you're trying to legitimately offer it to mankind. Maybe
That's correct. And one of the things that you can look out for, if someone tries to sell you something,
right,
along with the reading, that's the one that you have to be skeptical of, because they are the ones that are, they upsell. And I had that experience when I was at one of our fairs, our county fairs, and I was really taken back because I had never done it.
I know on your website I found it curious because I didn't realize that, but continuing on that vein, you even mentioned that sometimes you'll use candles in your reading or whatever, and you might suggest the person to get a candle and burn it or whatever. But again, you specifically say, but no, I'm not selling a particular type of candle. You explain that you don't want to go get just a thin little thing that's going to last a minute. You want to get a substantial candle that can burn for an hour. But whether it's a religious or non-religious, you're just saying it's a vehicle, a vessel to enhance the reading or the discussion. But it's not something, well, here's the way I can be, or selling a cloth. Remember, I got Robyn's tarot cards, right here, a whole pack, $100, and they'll do everything for you. So that's the key. And that's why I told everybody, watch for the accessories or the peripherals. If they start saying, well, no, this is courteous, I'm doing this for you. And, if you want to enhance the thing or to keep this on your way going, there are these things I have that you can, for a certain fee, you can continue it. So that's the kind of stuff I think delegitimizes or illegitimizes the service. Okay, it's nearing 8:30. It doesn't look like our caller, as I mentioned, our callers were questionable today. The gentleman who was supposed to call in, I had sent him a little note, and he didn't respond. As I mentioned, I didn't want to give you too many clues, but he is a late-night musician and artist, so I was skeptical that even though I know him well, I was skeptical that he would be able to make the call this early in the morning. It's just early for him. That's just any type of hospitality or people who work all night. If they have a few minutes more, they're not going to rush to make a phone call unless it's something affecting themselves or their family. So we're going to be the guinea pigs, Mike and myself. And like I said, and for those who don't know, and let me get this real quick, if you want to be on the show, and again, we don't see you, we just hear you, and you really don't have to give any information to Robyn at all, except for in the advance, we ask that when you communicate with us, you want to be on the show, just give us your name, and only your first name for her, and your age. Now, we don't put this on the air, so we don't embarrass anyone, but she needs that, and that helps her in her early preparation with regard to your call. That's all she asks for. She also asks if you want to not only hear what she says, but you have a question that's been burning, when will I make my first million or something like that, you can also include it in that 15-minute discussion. So all you need to do is contact us, and we will schedule, because, again, right now it's only once a month. If it gets more popular, then certainly we will consider expanding it or doing more than 2 calls in one show. So get that into us at any time. We're advertising more and more the show and soliciting people from all over the country, not just in New Orleans, to try and get a nice audience from varied aspects who will really challenge Robyn, if you want to call it like that, but also, more importantly, we'll hear their stories and it'll be hopefully informative and educational to us. So without further ado, I've already given him my age, and that's, right under Methuselah. Methuselah's number 1, and I'm right next to him. And so the little she knows about me from our 2 little short meetings. Let's see anything you have discovered about me that we need to know, or we'll be curious to know.
Well, right now you're trying to balance things, and you're kind of frustrated with how it's going. You need to be patient and you're also going to have to work at it. You can't just let things percolate and not do action. Uh-huh. Right now, this is just going to be one of those times where if you just sit there, nothing's going to happen. The other thing is what you're worrying about. You can, as far as trying to balance things, the action you take will be something that is definitely really personal, because it has to do with you more on a spiritual level or on an energetic level, as well as creativity. This is part of the creativity that you're going through right now, and you've got some really good ideas. Again, this comes down to action.
Okay, and I'm going to interrupt you because and I'm sorry, hopefully this won't change your train of thought, but much to my surprise, our caller is on the line. So
okay, great.
You telling
I
right
get
now.
you-
You're telling me things on the spot. So when and if we ever get to continue this, I'll be glad to hear it and amplify and give you some feedback. But anyway, we want to welcome to the show our friend Desmond. Good morning, Desmond. I had really counted you out for this morning, but you're a real trooper, and I really respect and appreciate your call.
Wait a minute. We agreed 8:30, right? It's 8:30 on the nose. Come on.
I know.
You counted me out before the time?
I know, but for some reason, I just felt your 8:30 doesn't come to really like around 10:30. You know, you're on a different time zone of yourself.
One thing you should know about me
of,
is when I say I'm going to be somewhere, I am there.
when it's CDT for you, it's Central Desmond time, not Central Daylight Time.
That means I am there on the nose when I say I'm going to be somewhere. I'm actually
really
there an hour early.
And you really sound bright and alert, which is even much more to your credit. This is fabulous.
Oh, that's all an act, I assure you. I just woke up,
Okay, well,
half an hour ago.
I don't know if when Robyn was here last month ago, whether you had a chance to meet her or not. I'm hoping not, so that way it'll be even a lot more credible here, so people won't think, well, she had advanced knowledge of the person. But first, let me introduce you to Robyn Dennen. This is Desmond Stickman.
Hi, Desmond. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you.
Okay, can you shift gears? She was already giving me some very good insight about myself, which now I'm a little jealous that you did call. But at the same time, can you shift gears quickly now and go into the Desmond mode? I know it's asking a lot of you to be this abrupt like this in staccato, but if you could do it, it would be great.
Yes, absolutely. I just shuffled the cards, and now I went back and looked at what I had written yesterday. So I'm good.
Desmond, you can hear Robyn? I want to make sure.
Yes, I can.
Excellent. Okay, well, look, you proceed. I'm going to stay out of it for the most part because I'm always the interrupter. Okay?
Okay, great. Desmond, I see someone, a man with money to give to you.
All right.
So I see, actually, I do see new money coming to you. We always like hearing about that. It's going to be more organic. So whatever you're doing, there's an opportunity. There'll be opportunities because of it being more organic. It's whatever you're doing, whatever you're working on is going to start to come to fruition. You may feel a little stuck right now. So even though the money is coming, it's some personal stuff on a more personal level. You're going to feel a little stuck. I usually say when I see this card, it's the Hangman. It's about 90 days. That doesn't mean you stop doing what you're doing. What it means is it's a time of reflection. It's a time of considering what you need to change in your life. But it never denies. It just means it delays. It's kind of like a planet being in retrograde.
All right.
I hate to say I wasn't getting in, but I don't understand when you say it's organic. I mean, we know it in vegetables, but I don't know it in life.
When it's organic, it's
and
something
maybe Desmond
natural.
knows, and so I'm wasting his time. But
It's something that comes naturally. You don't have to work as hard on it. Doesn't mean you don't have to work at all, but you're not pounding the pavement. I'm sorry, pounding the pavement. It's more of something that you naturally do. It's part of your life that you do. You still need to continue doing it. And that's the reason with the Hangman, it's a time of reflection. So whatever you're doing, if it's you're starting to feel that it's coming to fruition, that's more organic. Whereas if you're out there pounding that pavement, and sometimes I have to tell people, you've got to do it this way. You have to do it or it's not going to come to fruition. This is something that will come to fruition. He's on the right track. He does right now for the next 90 days. He may feel he's a little stuck. And it could be exactly with the weather that happened to you recently, because people are working on making that right. I shouldn't say that. Getting out of that situation. So that may be part of the delay because it's just part of what's going on in your community. That happens. If you're having Mardi Gras, sometimes that delays other things in your life. But anyway, so there's definitely money coming to you. The other thing, when I wrote wrote last night is the woman that you're fascinated with.
Uh-oh. I'm going to close my ears.
You got to stop playing. You're going to have to start getting serious, or you will be left alone. So if this is someone that you've been dating, married, it is getting to time to really take it seriously and take it to the next step. Or there's going to be hell to be paid. Oh, can I say that?
What is that?
Okay.
You are still concerned, which is normal. So stop worrying. The action that you take, you do still need to take action, even though I say
hang
it
on. I'm losing you a little bit. There we go. Wait, sounds like it just cleared up. There we go.
Okay. Sometimes we have a little bit of a delay. Even though I said that it's organic, you still have to do the activity to make it happen. If you're working on something and you're not doing anything, you're just thinking it's going to show up. No, you still have to do the activity. Again, like I said, this is a time of reflection.
So would that reflection also pertain to the personal part you just again?
Yes, it can.
Good.
It feels more like business. It feels more like what you're doing as far as work. But reflection is also sometimes in your whole life, because work is an effect on what your personal life is.
Right.
So if you're working too much, of course, then you can't do much with your personal life.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else you see?
I see lots of money around.
Oh my God! You're making him happy.
And there's a man involved with this, so it's
man.
someone
Who is
of.
This man? It's not me. I know that.
It's someone that will be, generous and who has, it's someone definitely you should talk to. Someone that I really feel like it's someone you may know or considering to reach out to. But if you're trying to accomplish something or you're trying to make something bigger, this is a good time to reach out to this person. Wow. He's on the taller side, and he's probably a little bit, at least 50. I would say he's at least 50, late 40s at the youngest. But he's definitely there to help you. But you've got to ask. You have to be. You can't be prideful. You have to be able to ask for it.
All right.
Excellent. Now, I don't know if you want to make any comments or feedback for her, but my other part to you, Desmond, is we ask each of our guests, do you have a specific question? Doesn't have to be anything about those 2 points she brought out, but anything specifically that you would like her to tell you about, if she has it.
If
you don't have it, it's okay.
I'm feeling pretty even lately.
That's good. That's good. When you're feeling even, that's a really good time to reach out. Like I said, with the hangman, you'll probably be reflective. If you're even, that's a good time to be quiet and take the time to be quiet and really get in touch with, more spiritual. Or when I say spiritual, it's more like what's the word I'm thinking? Inspirational. It can be inspirational too. Sometimes when I use the word mundane, when we're doing our daily activities, we lose sight of getting connected to doing inspirational things or being inspired. And this is, again, a really good time for you. You've got some things as far as the things that you're worrying about, and one of them is probably the woman. It's you taking action on, and so you do have a little bit of that, but I feel a really positive time coming for you. And a lot of times with the hangman, people look at this as being negative because they want something to happen right away. And for you, I see it as actually being a very positive thing, because what I see is that you're going to start looking at what is going on in your life and trying to tweak it or trying to shift it a little bit, and it will make a difference. It will definitely make a difference. So take a step back right now.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like I'm always a little weirded out when things like this happen. I used to be one of the artists on Frenchman Street. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Uh-huh.
And
she doesn't know
like
that,
that's where I am. I've been sort of regrouping. So that's really interesting.
Let me give her a little amplification, and that's what I was thinking when she was saying it. But of course, I didn't want to espouse that. There's a street at the end of the French Quarter, and everybody knows Bourbon Street, okay? But that's really for tourists and the music clubs and the dancing girls, etc. But at the end of the quarter, there's a major street called Esplanade, which has song, and then right on the end of that, coming into that, is a street called Frenchman Street, which for years was basically a kind of a quiet. It wasn't residential till you went further down away from the quarter. But they had several restaurants, one little theater, a couple of nightclubs and bars, but very sedate, very subdued. And someone came with the idea, let's really make this into another festival for New Orleans by bringing in art, making it an art marketplace, as well as expanding the music there and expanding the food there. So it became the natives or the locals' Bourbon Street. Where the locals, they'll go down there mainly when they're taking someone else to show them to Bourbon. But here was a place they could go with their families because it wasn't the raucous, bad reputation that Bourbon Street has. It was entertaining, and Desmond was fortunate enough to have a stall or whatever you call it, a place on that street. And of course, because so many tourists as well as natives would come, especially in the nighttime, it was, instead of being a day place, it was an evening place, that he did very well. And unfortunately, some of that has dissolved, and they've had to, typical landlord type situations, and they've had to relocate it to an area that might not be as much foot traffic, let's call it that. So that's what he's saying. He's in this kind of in between. So when you were talking about that thing, right away that hit me as that's very valid. And I don't know if you want to amplify anything on that, Desmond?
No, it's the market's basically closed right now, so I'm out of work until at least September, which is fine because I sort of stepped back and started working on some old projects that I'm really excited about. So
good.
It's just interesting. It feels
so. What she's saying has actually some actuality in your situation.
Well, yeah.
Excellent.
That's the reason why I'm the psychic. The other thing, I put down a couple more cards, and I know right now you're in a really good place as far as your attitude. So that's good because you'll be able to find what you're looking for. And I do see a new job, and it's not going to take that long. Like I said, it's probably it could even be less than the 90 days. But definitely do the reflection so you can really get clear about what you want.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm there. I've been there.
All right. Well, is there anything, like I say, is there any, I'm not trying to tax you, but is there any question you might have for her?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
It's, I sort of roll with it and leave it up to whatever happens, basically, and keep a positive attitude.
All right, Desmond. Well, like I say, you really have pleasantly surprised and shocked me for your spirit of cooperation, your loyalty, and it really has made the show because, we much rather hear from the folks on the outside, and what she's going to have to do now is try and give me more great information that she was starting to give me before you called. So listen, thank you very much. Now go have pleasant dreams, and we'll see you. We'll see you sometime soon. Okay.
Absolutely. See you soon.
All right, Desmond. Take care.
And thank you very much. All right.
Welcome. Bye. Thank you.
All right. No problem.
That went very well. Thank you. I was delighted because I was connecting the dots, knowing a little bit about his professional and somewhat of his personal thing, because as we talked before, that he does come to that hair night situation and his lovely female partner, et cetera, now. So a lot of those things were filling in the dots there that, you weren't aware of per se from a physical basis, but certainly from a spiritual type thing you realize. So that's great. That was really, really fascinating. Now you're stuck with the tough guy. Are you ready to revisit me? Unless Mike wants to jump in. Mike, would you rather? You've gotten a lot of courage now. Would you rather be number 2? Mike? Mike's in quiet mode. Mike?
Hello?
Are you interested in being the second caller instead of me doing it, or what?
I guess it can't hurt.
All right.
All
Can we
right.
shift gears one more time? And again, I know you've had brief conversations over the last few weeks with Robyn, officially introducing Robyn to Mike, Mike to Robyn, and take it away.
Okay. Well, just give me a second. I need to put down some cards for you.
Sure.
Do you have a
Clean up your
question?
desk. That's right. Okay.
What would be the future of the New Orleans Talk Network?
Oh, is that your question? Is that your question? Let's hold that question to the end, okay?
Okay, we'll do that.
Unless he comes up with something, he might get more fascinated when I have something a little more personal in that. But when you're ready, we're waiting for you. Unless you think it'd be just a moment, or what?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. I put it down. I'm looking.
All right, take it away.
Okay, so you are going to have a new project coming on. So this could be part of what you're talking about with your station, or it could be a new love, or it could be a baby. So the card that came up is the Ace of Cups. So any of those, that's how I read that particular one. You are going through a completion cycle. That doesn't mean it's bad. We all are always cycling. So, when we're, sometimes we're, a parent, we go through, and then we become empty nesters. So we're always, as humans, we're always going through cycles of change or, new cycles in our lives. What I do see is you are trying to balance some concerns right now. You have strength in you, and you need to get in touch with that as you move forward. You have a lot to offer, and when you doubt yourself, that's when it's harder for you to move forward. So this is really a time of getting connected back to that strength. And don't doubt yourself or overthink. That's the other part, is not overthinking. As far as these concerns that you have, it's really up to you. You can't sit back. You have to take action, and that's the reason why I'm telling you, you don't doubt yourself. You have the experience, you have the ability, and stay strong with this. As far as money, it's going to change for you. It looks like it's for the better, but it's going to take a while. It's not going to happen overnight. So let me see if I can see how long this is going to take.
Oh, boy.
You have some new things. You're going to go through a new cycle because now you have the Ace of Pentacles. And with the Ace of Pentacles, it's a brand new, that means more money coming to you. Wow. Again, they're both reversed. And by being reversed, this is going to be a delay for you. So it's not going to happen overnight, but I would say less than a year that this process is going to take. Let's see what else I have. And you also, again, you have moments of frustrations, and you try to be patient. But you really have right now, as this cycle happens, you have a lot of hope, as well as you have a lot of positive experiences you're going to be going through in the next 90 days. It is going to take action, like most things. It takes action from us to make things happen. There is a change coming for you too. All of this is headed for a change. Again, it's going to be delayed. So whatever you're going through right now will take precedence. But you have to start getting focused. Write down, I always tell people when they're going through this kind of change, is to write down 10 things that you want to have in your life, or write down what your perfect life would be. Because again, for me, it's right intention. What is my intention to have in my life? And this is an opportunity for you to get clear on what you want, and writing it down kind of solidifies it. And, we can again talk about a blue candle, because blue is clarity. And you can, that's one of the things you can use, but that's part of what you need, is some clarity and some, stop worrying. You have the actions, you have the abilities to make this happen.
Wow.
I see. Everything sounds cool except for the baby part.
Well, remember, she said that was only one of three. She didn't say that was a necessity.
Yeah, let's leave that one out for now.
I think the first one.
I really think it's going to be a new project for you.
Yeah,
Something.
I think the first one is the most likely, but the second one could be too, a new love in your life. But that second one could be dangerous because it could lead to the third one that you're not looking for right now.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Well,
Michael,
I hate saying it whenever if someone is in a relationship, but new loves can also be a new love of something you're doing. You're trying something new. You become love it, and that's more of a project. You're starting a new project. Right. That seems to be what I'm seeing. It's on the project side.
Yeah,
but
I think that's more.
I like to make a little bit of a laugh about this because when I say a new love or if I say a baby, not everybody wants those things in their life right now.
I am starting to write on a comic book, so that might be it.
That's perfect. Just don't give up. You have this, this is about, I'm going to get emotional. When I get emotional, that means I'm right on. This is about strength and that you have it to complete it. And this could change your life if you went forward with it. So, the first thing I said is about strength, and you need to stay tight with that. Hold on to that because that's going to get you through this.
Okay, Michael, how about, do you want to re-ask that same question, or you have, because of after the insight she's given you about your personal life and your work life, is there anything else you'd rather ask instead? Is the question?
That's probably it. So
you
far,
want to rephrase it again for her? Because I don't know if she was hitting on it when you were doing that. We weren't expecting an immediate question. I know I wasn't. But anyway, go ahead. Why don't you re-ask it, and let's see if she can add any input to that at all.
Oh, the future of the New Orleans Talk Network?
That's the station, of course, that we're both working for.
Okay, so I see some stability, especially around the financial. Mm-hmm. So that would be a good indication. Also with the sun that was in your reading, that is also a real positive thing. Some of this is probably going to have to be let's see, what's the word everybody has to be involved. I know that people at the top always make the decision, but everybody has to take a part in this. And it really needs to have everybody in it for the long haul and feeling confident that these are the things that we need to do to make this happen. And there is going to have to be some change. Definitely there'll have to be some change going along with that. It may not, change is sometimes uncomfortable. Sometimes we don't agree with it. But if, again, like we talked about you with your inner strength, the strength that you're going to have to pull on to, it can get you to another place. So I would say to you, and that can also be within the job that you have. Doesn't mean you have to go outside of that job. But I put down more cards and there's money around you. So whatever the results are, you're going to have a positive result.
Well, once again, I know, just as Desmond, I know Michael welcomed the money too. Right, Mike? I don't know if you heard that. He's probably preoccupied with working on the station. Okay, well, Michael, thank you very much. We're going to sign off with Robyn. I have one more.
Bye, Michael.
I appreciate everything.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Well, and again, we appreciate you subbing for our absent caller, but at the same time, it sounds like she, from the little I know of you, to our working relationship, she sounds like she hit on some ideas and some information that I think would be certainly not only valuable to you, but sounds like would be valid for you. Is that right?
Very useful, I can say. Good. Things I agree with.
Good, very. Okay, Mike, thanks. All right, Robyn, listen, once again, we were kind of apprehensive about today's show because of, the possibility of not having any callers. But once again, my friends sometimes surprise me. But I was really glad that Desmond, and he's a very deserving young man, just like Michael is here, both got a chance to speak to you because, they are both going. I know Desmond is going through somewhat changes, as you heard, just with his whole nature. He's an artist, and he's really was making some tremendous inroads in his art and successfully with that whole program for the last couple of years. and now for it kind of be the roots being pulled from underneath, not just him, but the other artists and all that were all there, because they're turning it into a parking lot for another building they own. So it's not really a pleasant deal for the poor people who were making their livelihood. So, it's good that you were able to hopefully bolster his spirit and give him, that rainbow to look for, the goal to continue to pursue, as well as in his personal life, which I happen to know a little bit about it. All right, dear, listen, thanks very much. For those who are watching, remember the second Monday of each month, Robyn Dennen, you can go to her website, ROBYNDENNEN.com. Read a lot more, see lovely pictures and some testimonials, anything you want to know about her. You can communicate to her directly. She's a delight and very responsive, and we look forward to her next month, okay? All right, Robyn, I'm going to sign off, but I need to make one more announcement to the audience about something I forgot to do at the beginning. Our good friend Noreen Jacobs, the executive director of the Hope Community Resource Center, is having an annual book giveaway and school supply giveaway on August 26th in the Nord DC St. Bernard Recreation Center from 10 to 1. And starting September 1st there, and after school, she'll be doing tutoring and homework help. So if you have a chance, bring your child out and go get worthwhile supplies and school, and then make plans for them to have assistance if they would need it after school. Okay, next week is Free Week. We'll see what we'll bring to you. Don't forget the fourth week is Know Your Nonprofit. And we have a fifth week this month, and that's going to be, so you want to be a co-star. If you want to be a co-star, let me hear from you. We're going to put somebody in this vacant seat for one day. All right, you all have a great weekend. Persevere with our tragedies, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Take care.